I'm really happy that you're here today.
Thank you.
Are you the type of person to take calculated risks?
I love taking calculated risks. In fact, there's
Good day, everyone, and welcome to Equations for Excellence, powered by CASIO Education, a podcast series coming to you live. My name is Alexandra Topalian, and I'm very glad to welcome you all today as we welcome special individuals in the UAE who have maneuvered through life through thick and thin and through obstacles and achievements. So my guest today is Mr. Imran Sheikh, CTO of Virgin Mobile UAE. Hello, Imran. Great to have you with us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
I'm really happy that you're here today.
Thank you.
So you are the Chief Technology Officer for Virgin Mobile, a very important network here in the UAE. You must have loads of responsibilities. Are you the type of person to take calculated risks?
I mean, I love taking calculated risks. In fact, I actually carry a calculator with me at all times.
You're
just
kidding, right?
Not using that to calculate the risks. There's better empirical measures that we take when we typically make any decisions, whether it's for the organization, whether it's for my life, professional or personal.
So you are the type of person to take calculated risks,
yeah, absolutely.
not just risks.
Absolutely. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, the pros and cons have to be measured, and that's what dictates my decision making.
Yes.
I don't make any decisions, in fact, without doing a proper analysis.
Okay, so you are analytical.
Pretty much, yes.
Okay. Not very spontaneous in your decision making, and
No, not really.
Okay,
not really.
okay.
Unless it's desserts.
Okay.
I love eating desserts, so it's.
then you're very spontaneous.
Yeah, then I'm very spontaneous. Before you know it, the dessert is gone.
Oh goodness!
So.
All right, you are navigating through a period of time where there's emerging digital technologies coming about daily. You have 5G that you're implementing. You have the metaverse landscape. You have tons of emerging technologies coming your way. How do you deal with maneuvering through that and assessing the risks?
Yeah. So ultimately, when you look at everything that's at play right now, you need to prioritize, right? What makes sense for the business? What makes sense for the people? Because what we're providing a service for the people. So what would benefit them more, right? So there's that sort of prioritization decision making.
Okay.
And that's where you look at risk versus reward. You look at the pros and cons and et cetera. But if you look at just the 5G implementation in itself, given the complexity of it, that in itself is a very risky proposition.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's risky is primarily because it's exposing everybody to a network that is capable of doing a lot more than what we had 10 years ago.
Right.
And that actually increases the risk from the perspective of cybersecurity threats.
Oh, yes.
And et cetera, right? So I don't want to get into the technicalities of it, but 5G implementation in itself is a very, very evolving discipline.
Yes.
And we continue to evolve in it. And we're constantly doing risk assessment in terms of what features to roll out and what to hold back and seeing the maturity of it and et cetera.
Absolutely. There are huge cybersecurity threats, and I'm definitely sure that you have to, work out through those challenges. The team that is reporting to you, how do you motivate them to take risks and to take calculated risks when they make decisions?
I think when you're working as a team, you're collectively making the decision, right? So when you're collectively making the decision, hearing everybody out within the team and understanding their point of view, whether it's negative or whether it's a positive input, you're taking that together and collating it and going against your better judgment. As a leader, typically, you want some things to be done and you want them a certain way because you're accustomed to doing it that way. But ultimately, taking a step back and letting the team make the decision based on the pros and cons, I think not only motivates the team, but also guarantees the success of the project, just primarily because everybody is working towards the same goal that
Right.
they themselves decided.
Well said, well said. Do you think that it's difficult for some leaders to do that, to delegate and to allow the team to go ahead and take those risks?
Ultimately, I myself have fallen victim to getting things done a certain way, just primarily because I've done it previously and I've seen it work.
Yes.
But it's very critical to evolve as you evolve as a leader, to not just look at what you've done in the past and what's worked in the past, because there may be a better way of doing things. And as we introduce new technologies into our ecosystem, the subject matter experts should be the ones making decisions.
Yes.
And you should be looking at the decisions holistically and navigating around them while guiding the team into coming into a conclusion, right?
Right.
The conclusion should be the team's conclusion, and that's the only way they'll feel that they own the decision. And that's the recipe of success. In fact, the equation of excellence.
Wow. Well said. Thank you very much. I also hear that you take risks in your own personal life. I heard through the grapevine that you are a race car driver as well.
Yeah, I try. I wouldn't say I'm a race car driver, but I do collect cars and I race on the track.
Okay, you race on the track.
That's correct. That's correct. I don't.
But they cannot be calculated risks because when you're driving at very high speeds, you don't have time to calculate the risk.
Well, see, what you do is you minimize your exposure to the risk. So there will always be a risk. You walk outside your building, there's a risk of a car hitting you.
Well,
right?
okay.
It's so, there will always be a risk. You can step on a broken glass in your own apartment.
Yes, but
right?
car driving, you've increased the risk by 1,000.
Well,
car racing, I mean.
Yes, but if you're minimizing your exposure by taking precautionary measures,
Okay.
Doing training before actually going high speeds, you minimize the exposure.
Okay.
So when I race, typically it's with a helmet. It's with a car that's capable of taking the torture as well as protecting you. Yes, of course. The cars go through.
There are, if people don't take calculated risks, what do you think is at loss? What do you think that they would lose, not gain?
Yeah, ultimately any growth, whether it's personal or professional.
Yeah.
I think that becomes a stunt or gets a stunt by complacency.
Right.
And complacency comes, the whole definition of complacency is when you are doing things a certain way and you continue to do things a certain way and you get used to it. The growth will only come once you get out of your comfort zone and start taking some risks, calculated albeit, whether it's through a CASIO calculator or just defining your pros and cons and infusing that sort of theology in your life, you're going to get a lot far ahead compared to somebody that just sticks to a routine.
Very true, very true. So taking risks allows for personal growth.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm a 100% believer in the fact that if you don't take risks, you will not see any gains in your professional or personal life for that matter.
Fantastic. Well, Imran, thank you very much for joining me today. It was fantastic to have you on this podcast.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure being here.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.